Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. I know I did the camera for a second, so y'all can see that I'm ready to go on camera if you were able to see it. I'm ready to go on camera. I just need to make sure I'm just sitting here for a minute to make sure my eyes are done tearing before I do, because I don't want like my eyes getting red and weird because it's tearing makeup into my eyes. So if my eyes start dripping, I'm gonna have to go back off camera. So I just want to wait a couple minutes and wait until I just want to wait a couple minutes to make sure it's not going to start dripping again. But this is not the first time something like this has happened, and it won't be the last. You simply, as an American citizen, cannot take another American citizen to another country to toe tag them just because you think you might get away with it. So this is setting a very bad precedent in this country. And I really do feel like if the race of the people were different, this will be taken a lot more seriously and you will be getting some form of swift justice. I don't know how many of y'all watched Snapped and Dateline in 2020. If you guys do, put a one in the chat box and let me try to find this story right here. Hold on. Because if y'all had, this is an old story, but it's very similar actually. Not similar to this, but it's similar in the sense that I'm trying to find the story. It was a Dateline. Hold on, let me, hold on. Because I'm trying to find the exact story of this. I'm trying to, because they're sitting in here talking about they're not going to do anything about this. Let me pull up the story. Let me pull up the story if I can find it. Because there was basically a story of a man who was having an affair on his wife, and it was on Snapped as well. Him and his wife were at odds. I can't find the story now because I don't remember their name, but I remember the story. But in any event, let me see if I put this in here. Let me see. Let me see. Because they're like, what was it? What was that person called? Let me check the chat box and see if y'all know the name of it. No, I just know that the person, this was a man of no color and a woman of no color. They were married. He wanted out of the relationship and he was having an affair with what he thought was a woman, but it turned out to be a man. He took her to Mexico on vacation. He had planned it, everything. And long story short, he ended up with his lover, who was actually a man, toe tagging his wife in Mexico. He took her there for the sole purpose of doing that. They had already planned it. Both him and the person he was cheating on his wife with planned it. He brought the kids, and he was so insidious that he knew, because he had toe tagged his wife in their suite. He had her kids go in there and discover her body while he sit in the car and act like he didn't know what was going on. No, it's not. I don't think it was Chris Stokes. I don't think no, Chris Stokes is B2K stuff. No, I don't know. I think his Mexican lover's name was Yesenia. But I can't seem to find the story. So if you guys remember the name of the story, it was on Snap, it was on Dateline, it was even on Forensic Files. Yes, Yesenia Patino, exactly. So let me see if I can find it by that name, and I'll tell you guys how this is. Yeah, it was Snap season 3, episode 2. Okay. And I think the husband's name, why is this only going on videos? Let me see. Yep, this is the story. Thanks for the person on there. But basically, this was on Snap as well in 2005. The woman's name, it was Trish and Dan Willoughby. That was the story about Trish and Dan Willoughby. Okay. Wealthy man. Yep. Daniel Willoughby. Right. Wealthy man took his wife out there to Mexico, toe tagged her. Yeah, the U.S., I believe the U.S. helped to extradite them back to Mexico, where he swiftly got some justice, him and her. Yesenia was because she flipped on Dan, so she was sentenced to 35 years, and I believe he was sentenced to life. I think he got life. And she got 35 years. She or he or whatever y'all want to call them. It got 35 years. So this is not the first and it's not the last time that something like this happened at all. The bottom line of it is for whatever reason, and I believe it's heavily due to race, the U.S. is just not interested in doing anything so that this family can get some justice for the obvious planned toe tagging of their daughter. So this is what we're dealing with. They're saying that there's just not a substantial amount of evidence. There's not enough evidence here. And I get that the U.S. is really big on forensic evidence. I do get that. I get that. But when you have a video where some certain behaviors are being engaged in and you can corroborate what happened in terms of a COD, with a medical professional based on what you see in the video, which is possible, I don't understand how they feel like there's a lack of evidence. I don't believe that they went and questioned these individuals and somehow they just didn't crack it, nobody talked. Because if you watch the first 48, which interestingly enough, Charlotte is always on the first 48, Mecklenburg County. But if you look on the first 48, it's not that hard to get anybody within our community to crack and start running their mouth, especially flipping on another Black person. It just is what it is. So I don't think they put any effort into this. I think the only reason why they're even saying anything is because of the amount of effort that's been put in by the family in order to get some justice for this situation. Like when you have a video like that and then there's certain injury, like if you watched or listened to Nancy Grace's podcast, Nancy Grace had medical professionals on there who was basically able to watch the video, watch certain things that happened, and then said, well, hey, look, this move right here could have caused this type of damage here, this in this medical report in this COD. So at the end of the day, they indicted people on less. We know they have. But I think because this was a Black on Black situation, I think they really just don't care at the end of the day. And I think that Black women have put in a lot of work to make it so that Black men specifically were not being imprisoned for the crimes that they commit. And I really do think that this is why we're seeing so many incidents of this happening and nothing happens in response to it. Now, if this woman in the video, if Shanquella was white, and I think I said this in my initial video, if Shanquella was white, number one, this would not have happened because every single Black man in that room, including the alleged one with the wig on, every one of them in there would have protected her and made sure nothing happened. So the race has a lot to do with this, I believe. If this had happened to a woman of no color, there's no possible way this country, the government here, would be saying, okay, well, there's just not enough evidence. Even if they had to create some evidence, they would have created enough evidence to be able to put charges and indict. But now they're saying that they're not going to. They're saying that they're simply, for some reason, there's just not enough evidence. I don't understand how. And they said after careful consideration and things of that sort, they just decided they're not going to bring any charges because they don't feel like there's enough evidence. And that annoys and irks me because I know it's a load of BS. I really do. I feel like this is a load of BS at the end of the day. I think they do have enough, but I think that they put in absolutely no work. And quite frankly, the issue is mostly Mexico, because Mexico should have never let them leave that country. And I think the US's attitude is, well, we don't have to. And technically they don't. They don't have to. They have the wherewithal where they can, but they don't have to. They actually can say, you know, this happened in another country because of the corruption there. We don't have enough evidence. There is a way for them to just say they don't have enough evidence. But do I think they put the effort in to get the evidence? Absolutely not. I don't think there was any effort put in to really get any. I don't even think effort was even put in to the extent of them talking to these people. I don't think that they even put enough in there. But, you know, it is what it is. This is what we're looking at. We can't really, it's not like anybody can go force them and be like, well, no, you about to do some charges. Like, ain't nobody about to do that. Ain't nobody about to make them put no charges on them. They're not. And with the way that the Black community functions and the fact that all of the reports that came out said that the whole situation was orchestrated by her Black male friend. I don't know if y'all have been following the case. I have, but it's already been determined, allegedly, that her best friend, the Black male that was there, orchestrated the entire thing against his so-called friend, the one who was going around to the family functions. And I believe it was Malik. I believe the Malik Dyers dude. He's the one who was going to the family vacations. Most of the other people there, Shanquella apparently didn't even really know them like that. But the dude who was her best friend, who was sitting up in front of her family, who was going on family vacations with her, allegedly he is the one who orchestrated the whole thing against his friend, Khalil. Yeah, Khalil Cook. Thank you, DW. DW said Khalil Cook. Ben Crump is already on the case. Many people will speculate and say this is probably why it's not going anywhere, because Ben Crump is on it. So this is something that Ben Crump is involved in. And Tamika Mallory has come out and she has spoken on this. Nancy Grace said she wasn't going to rest until there was some justice. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I do think we have an issue in our community with hating ass bitches. And I think that we don't talk enough about it. We don't talk enough about how destructive some Black women can be to other Black women because of the constant competition, because of the high levels of jealousy that's typically over some bandit that ain't worth anybody feuding over. But for a number of different reasons, there's a high level of jealousy, envy, and hatred among other Black women. Like even in this YouTube space is like that. There's a reason why people run around saying, oh, don't put nobody's name in the chat box, because there's such a high level of jealousy, insecurity, envy, competitive energy even among people who really, like, you got people out here throwing themselves into competition with people who don't even really know they exist at the end of the day. But because there's such a high level of that, you can literally see in this one space here how the content creators interact with each other or don't interact with each other based on how emotionally fragile a lot of them are, and how many of them have the propensity to be hating ass bitches and are hating ass bitches. They simply are looking for a reason to show you how much of one they actually are. This is something that really needs to be talked about and addressed. It just is what it is. Well, Kimmy, you know what? Bodies can be exhumed. So, but I do think they should have had another autopsy done. And it was sad that they did have one done. But there was a lot said around this case that turned out to not be true. So I'm not about to get into the they said this and they said that. The reality of it is this is what conclusion the government is saying that they've come to. They are saying that they're not going to file any charges. And I think they're setting a very bad precedent. And I think they know that they're setting one too. I just think they don't care at the end of the day. But today, federal prosecutors announced that they will not bring charges at all. That is very sad. I'm sure that I can't even imagine how her mother feels. Like, I just can't imagine how her mother feels for her daughter to have went on essentially a vacation. She talked to her one day and then that was the last time she ever talked to her. Like, really? I feel bad for any mother who would have to go through that. And I think that people need to start narrowing their circle of people who they tend to be around. Don't call everybody your friend. I think you should question certain people, even if they've been in your life for years. Because again, that dude was on family vacations. He was her friend and a friend of the family for years, supposedly. And at the very least, he didn't intervene at all. Because even if you didn't set the situation up, the fact that you didn't intervene is highly suspect. Y'all said I need to talk about the hate Black women have towards each other. We ain't gonna get fully into it today, but a lot of the hatred that just in general that women garner towards other women is typically rooted in attention, somebody being elevated higher than them, or getting more male attention than they are, or just general jealousy. You look better than me, or you got more than me, those type things. That runs amok in the Black community. It runs amok in the Black community. The problem is very few people are willing to admit that they are a hating ass bitch. Most of them ain't gonna do that. Like, I literally cannot stand these fruit flies, y'all. When I tell y'all, like, despise fruit fly season, I literally despise it because it discourages you from buying fruit. Because if you buy fruit, you're going to have fruit flies because they lay their eggs on fruit. This is why you got to make sure you wash your fruit too. Soak it and wash it because they literally lay the eggs on the fruit and then you got a bunch of fruit flies. But yeah, the bottom line is most people who are haters, I don't know of any hater who was going to publicly admit or admit to anybody other than themselves, or even admit to themselves that they are some haters. People don't want to do that. People want to give off the impression that they're somehow very confident and very secure. Hey, Themis, thanks for being here. You said, say that again. People just hate to hate sometimes. I feel so bad for her family. I can't imagine for her mother, like for real. I mean, because nobody is going to grieve the loss of a person more than the person who brought them into existence. So I don't believe that anybody is grieving more than her mother, not even her father. I don't think that her father's not grieving. It's clear that he is grieving. He's been visibly emotional and even crying on camera several times. So I don't think that the father isn't grieving, but I don't think anybody is grieving as much as the mother. That was a child that grew in her body, that was nurtured off of her body, who shares DNA with her, who shared an immune system with her. I think the bond between, and I get that every mother doesn't have a bond with their daughter. I call them defective people. I think a person is defective if they don't have a bond with their child. A mother who, there's something wrong when a mother does not bond to a child that's growing in her body for nearly a year. That's indicative of like a problem. And I want y'all to understand that that is an issue. That's abnormal. As a mother, everything that happens during the pregnancy process is supposed to bond you to your child. So in the even the type of hormones that are released in your body and just certain things, it's like, okay, these are things that are supposed to make you bond to your child. Why don't you have a bond with your child? That's seen as an abnormality. So anyway, I say that to say I don't think anybody's grieving more than the mother who lost her daughter. And then the fact that she has to still be in the same city with these people and was trying to rely on the government to bring some type of justice and restoration to the not restoration, but conclusion to the situation, closure, so that she can move on. Basically, she's not getting that now. She ain't getting that now. And I do think that's a problem. Sifa the Champ said, I wonder what more evidence they need to prosecute. You know, I think that I don't think it's an evidence issue. I think it's a will issue. I think it's a desire issue. That's what I think it is. And we not even gonna get on Tokyo Tony. Mm-mm. Tokyo Tony, I believe, is what happens when hood rats get pregnant. And I wish these dudes would stop impregnating women that are not mentally fit to be mothers. I think men need to vet better when it comes to who they choose to impregnate. Because a man impregnated Tokyo Tony, but Angela White never really, from what I heard, she never really spoke about her father. So do Tokyo Tony even know who her mom? Let's not even get into this. We're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into this. We're not going to get into the type of mom that Tokyo Tony is, because that right there is an easy drag, because everything that she does, for the most part, she's doing it all over social media, and it just looks silly and tacky and hood radish. That's all it looks like. It just looks real hood radish. And that's all. I'm just gonna say I'm glad that's not my mom, and my mom don't act like that. Like, I so badly want to call her Black China, but she already says she's discarding that. She's using her government name, Angela White, so therefore her name needs to be. I'm gonna refer to her as Angela White, because that's what her name is, and she's going through what appears to be like a spiritual awakening. It seems like what she's going through, and she's kind of trying to become a better person. I know people were criticizing her for, people always want to criticize people, especially when they're doing the right thing. It's so weird. It's really weird. I don't understand anybody who, hold on, y'all, I got to cough again. I don't know why anybody would act like what Angela White is doing and what she's trying to become and how she's trying to self-improve. I don't know how anybody could turn that into a negative thing. But I do know that, we have in our community, we have a very toxic way of thinking about stuff. And we have the way that we judge people within our community is just trash to me. It is. It is really, really trash. But I want to get into this article. Sorry, y'all. If y'all see me waving, it's because it's a little annoying gnat over here. But I want to get through the article because I want to be able to drop the link. So if people want to come up and comment, they can do so. But listen. Myself and a number of other people in this space who has the ability to use foresight, which these bandits are clearly lacking, have been able to predict this, what we see happening now. Hold on, you guys. I'm cold. I'm about to turn on the heater. Mystery 333, I think you hit the nail on the head. We don't like to applaud upward mobility. I don't know if y'all agree or not. You really don't have to, but it is my opinion that the Black community is non-progressive, both in behaviors, belief systems, and just overall mindset. The Black community is very non-progressive. And we can try to pretend like we are progressive, but we're not progressive. And the males in the community have the hardest time progressing and adapting to change that happens in the Black community. They're having a very difficult time doing that. Now, here's the thing. People in general, a lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't change their belief system. They should, though. I do think in order for growth to happen, sometimes it requires that you not only change your belief system, but you also change your behavior. And people don't respect that. People don't respect that people can evolve, and specifically within the Black community. Now, obviously, you should be able to have discernment to see if somebody has actually evolved, or is somebody just going basically with the trend because it's beneficial to them. Some people will pretend that they've evolved, but they really haven't. And you'll be able to tell people who haven't evolved because they won't be able to keep up that facade for very long. But the Black community is very non-progressive. It is very non-progressive. And we don't like to really discard that which does not work for us. We will continue to cling to the same outdated ideologies and beliefs and way of life, even though everything around us is evolving with the times. One of those things is the outdated opinions on gender roles in our community, religious norms and beliefs. Like the fact that a lot of y'all are believing in a religion that says that a woman came from the rib of a man, when science and reality tells you that's clearly not true, is beyond me. We still have like the same outdated mindset of, welfare removes somebody from the home, or that there's all of these agendas to try to destroy a group of men who's a threat to nobody. We don't progress. We really don't progress. And I see it over and over and over and over and over. And in these Black men on this space particularly, and this is how they got to where they're at, is because of their inability to progress, is their inability to evolve. And we've seen it on a number of different panels. You can just look at things from with the Kitten in Heels and his rise to Andrew Tate and his rise to up until now where you got these passport bandits trying to go to other communities because they cannot evolve. They cannot progress. They can't meet changes and standards as they come. They can't do it. They can't do it. That's why they're running around talking about modern women are a problem. They can't seem to meet the level of standard that has changed with the times. They can't seem to meet it. They keep wanting society to degress rather than progress, or regress rather than progress, because they're not capable of doing it. The problem that they have with modern women is that they cannot evolve as men to meet the needs of a modern woman. They feel very entitled to women. They feel like women owe them submission. They subscribe to this gender hierarchy that places men above women. If you're in the Black community, they literally use religion, i.e. Christianity, to validate that you should submit to them, even though they have no power or authority. You should be their helpmate, although they ain't doing nothing for you to help. In order for somebody to be your helpmate, don't you got to be building something? Don't you got to be doing something? So if we're not being your helpmate, it's because you are not doing anything. You're not doing anything. They don't seem to realize that now that women have the ability to provide for themselves, she does not need you to be the breadwinner. You then need to evolve into a male or a group of men who have characteristics and traits that can make up for the fact that no one needs you to provide anymore. In the Black community, we should never be having this discussion anyway, because Black men were never providers. They were never traditional, ever. And I don't know why we allow them to run around and pretend as if they've ever been in a providing position when they literally have not. Black men have never been providers. Therefore, they do not have a right to sit up and talk about a woman submitting to them because of whatever position that they think that they're in. No one owes you anything at all. No one owes you anything. Absolutely not. You don't get to sit up there and talk about the Bible and talk about how a woman is supposed to submit and she was created to be a helpmate for a man, and you ain't doing nothing and you was never a traditional provider. Why are you sitting up? Black men always been modern men, quite frankly. They've always been modern men. If the modern woman is the woman who has to work and take care of herself, then clearly Black women have always been the modern women. There's never been a time when Black women did not have to work. There's never been a time where Black women didn't have to bring income into the household. There's never been a time where Black women were able to rest in their femininity while the man does his manly duties and then she does her. We've never had traditional gender roles in the Black community because Black men have never been able to fulfill the traditional roles of a man. It's never happened. Now, but what they will do is they will lay claim to the positions and the accomplishments of other men. And based on the accomplishments of other men, they then feel like they are entitled to certain types of women who would be accessible to certain types of men that they are not. You are not building dominating men. You're not. And it doesn't matter how many times you say, well, men built society when you've built nothing. That doesn't put you in the category of the men who built society. You being forced to do something because another male group made you do it does not make you a builder. It makes you a slave. That is, it makes you a worker at the very least. It makes you a subordinate. You do not get to run around saying, well, men built all these stuff. And then we ask you, okay, so what did Black men do? And the only thing that you can tell us Black men role was being obedient to another group of men who were making them do things. Okay, then you aren't in the same category of the men who were making you do stuff. You're not in the category of those men. But they will include themselves in those groups of men, even though they're not. There's nothing you can literally look at the relationship dynamics between Black men and how they play out, how Black men fit into the role of a man within different relationship and household dynamics with different races of women, and it's all the same. You don't even know the basics on how to be a functional man, that somebody can actually be in a functional, not dysfunctional relationship with. They do not know how to do that. And it irks me every time I get on here and talk about these bandits, because the one thing that they are very high in is ego and arrogance. They are very egotistical, very arrogant, very immature. They always want to run around trying to check somebody, but refuse to check themselves. You don't possess any leadership qualities. None. None whatsoever. None of the men, like, look at the Dusty Beta Manosphere and tell me which one of their so-called leaders possess foresight. Because even Worm Food didn't possess any foresight at all. Because it was in his height that the FBI report came out. I remember it was in the height of the kitten, who is now Worm Food. It was in his height where the FBI released the first report saying that they were investigating the Manosphere. They were investigating it. And I don't necessarily think they said the Manosphere specifically, but they put out a report saying that they were investigating this group of people. A number of us did content on it. You think the bandits in the Manosphere didn't see it? They saw it. But their inability to evolve intellectually, mentally, or otherwise, the level of arrogance that they have, and the bottom line of it is they're going to do it to their detriment anyway, because they feel like they're getting back at you. They feel like they're doing something to you. And this is what happens when your foolish intents, when it backfires on you. And it's backfiring on them. They think they're doing something and checking women and getting women in line. And you've heard a whole bunch of bandits talking about, Kevin Samuels, didn't that dumb Charleston White say, well, Kevin Samuels was bringing them down. That man ain't do nothing except to help your whole organization be investigated by the FBI. Because what this second report mentions is the number of toe tagging of women that was connected to these different coaches coming out of the Manosphere. With this red pill movement, interestingly enough, a concept that they taken from a movie that was created by a Black woman, a movie that was written by a Black woman, The Matrix. So they took a concept that was initially created by a Black woman, to their knowledge, that came from a movie created by some men of no color. And then they decided to turn it into this online movement, or latch on, because they're not really creating anything. These bandits they didn't even create the movements that they follow now. Not SYSBM, not the Manosphere, not Red Pill. These are not their own concepts they're following. And I don't understand how these bandits, who only seem to know how to follow, are always screaming, talking about they want to be a leader. Well, first you got to stop following first. Shouldn't you stop being the biggest followers before you claim a seat at the table of leadership? Shouldn't you show and demonstrate some independent thought and behavior, not a cult-like mentality? Shouldn't you separate yourself from the group of daddy-deprived, dick-riding struggle bandits before you act like you want to have a seat at the leadership table? Shouldn't you prove that you can actually be a functional leader within your own household before you jump out here and talk about you want to lead a community of women who obviously don't want to be led by? If Black men had exhibited Effective leadership abilities. Would they have any issue getting any group of women to follow them? Probably not. Likely not. But because all they've done is demonstrate ineffective leadership and doesn't possess any qualities of being an effective leader, one of those qualities being, one of those characteristics being the use of foresight. You cannot be a good leader if you do not have good foresight. Now, these are the bandits who not only are they remedial in their thought process, but they're in general, they're just remedial. There are bandits, if you take a 5-minute clip, there's bandits that will tell you you need to watch, if it came from a 3-hour live stream, they'll tell you you need to watch the whole 3-hour live stream to get the context of a 5-minute clip. If you need to watch 3 hours of live stream to understand the context of a 5-minute clip, there is something wrong with your level of intellect. There's just something wrong with your brain. There's something called context clues. They don't know how to use context clues. They don't know how to infer. All they know how to do is say, well, you got to watch the whole video. You got to watch the whole video so you can get the context. No, you got to watch the whole video so you can get the context. My brain is set up very differently. I don't need to watch a 3-hour live stream to understand the context of a 5-minute clip. I don't need to do that. I don't need to watch every single dialogue that happened before you came to this one conclusion just to get the context of it. They do. They're extremely remedial. Because I was just sitting up thinking about that. I think I was watching one of Themis's playback. And one of these bandits went up there. No, I was watching it, I think just before, it was on the one that I was watching today. A bandit set up there like, oh, well, you need to watch the whole video to get the context. And no, you don't. Do you not realize there's something wrong with you? If you need to watch a 3-hour panel discussion just to get the context of something that was said within a 5-minute dialogue, something is wrong with you. You should not need to. You shouldn't need to go back and watch the whole thing in its entirety just to understand the context of something. And then they like to project that onto other people and say, oh, well y'all just didn't get the context right. No, like, what are you talking? It's like Christians telling you need to read the 6 verses before one verse to understand the context of that one verse. No, I don't. Because I know how the Bible is written, and generally, in a lot of those verses, they can have absolutely nothing to do with the verse after it. So what are you talking about? But I see that a lot with Christians too. You'll read a verse and they'll say, oh no, you got to read all the verses above it and below it and around it and next to it to understand the context. No, I don't. I need to just read this verse. I need to read this verse and I'll understand what this verse is saying. Now, you can try to connect it to another verse, but reading the other verse is not going to change the context of this verse. It's not going to change the meaning of this verse. And if you need to read the whole chapter of the Bible to get the context of one verse, there's something wrong with your brain. But there was already studies that was done that said there is something wrong with the brains and the intellectual level of people who subscribe to religion. I say that to say that these bandits are lacking. They're severely lacking, but they want to be in these leadership positions only to try to create the illusion of some kind of dominance that they do not have. You don't have any dominance. And no matter how many women you disrespect or demean or bring down to your level, you're still not going to have any dominance. That just means you drug somebody down into the dust where you're at. But you still didn't elevate to a dominant position. The problem with the bandits in this community, among many issues that they have, is their mentality, their unwillingness to step up and be men, their unwillingness to work on themselves. So rather than work on themselves, they decided to jump on the internet and start putting out real life hate speech towards women. They don't have to acknowledge that it's hate speech, but it is hate speech. And that's why it's literally being flagged by the FBI as extremism, because it is hate speech. And y'all can sit here and say, oh, well, this is restricted to the internet. It's not real life. It doesn't end up on the desk of the FBI if it's only restricted to the internet, even if it is restricted to the internet. But the fact of the matter is, it has spilled out into real life, because in real life, people can just get on the internet and say stuff. But when they go out in real life, they can actually take those sentiments with them, and they are. So I don't know why. I'm gonna need people to stop saying that this is the social media isn't real life, and what they say in the Black manosphere in real life. I need y'all to start saying that. Stop saying that. It is in real life. And in real life, the followers of Kevin Samuels and Coach Greg Adams, Fresh and Fit, and a number of those other unqualified pop-up dating coaches, in real life, they have passed on toxic, dangerous sentiments to bandits who interact with women in real life, and then take those toxic sentiments and they let them dictate how they interact with those women in real life. Femicide has increased. So this is not just an issue of, oh, they just on the internet saying it. No, they're actually putting it into practice too. So we're going to get into some of this article. Because, like, for real, the fact that, like, how could y'all not see this coming? And I'm going to take it easy, y'all. I'm not going to really drill because I'll lose my voice. It's already getting raspy, and I don't want to lose my voice. But I can already hear to a degree it's coming on. Hold on. Let's get into this article, though. Hang on a minute, y'all. I'm just pulling this up. I'm just about to pull the live stream up really quickly. I want to be able to watch the chat while we go through this. And y'all, please like the video as you come in. Please, please, please. If you could please like the video as you come in. Okay. Let me look at y'all in the chat and make sure I got this up. Okay. It says new documents released Monday warn that common internet lingo is being associated with violent extremism by the FBI. Why the bandits continue, they don't believe fat meat is greasy. This is why I say bandits can run around talking about the system this and the system that, and it's targeting and setting traps. Nobody needs to set a trap for you, because even when you do see something coming down the pipeline, you will act like you don't, or you're just going to be too dense to recognize it to begin with. Nobody needs to trap you up. I don't really know who these bandits think they are. You clearly think you have way more societal importance than you do. I see bandits as being societally and socially irrelevant. They see themselves as being very socially important, and I don't understand how. What are you doing that's so important that somebody has to come and thwart it and put up a task force like to take you down? What are you doing? When you start doing this, what's in this article, you become a threat to society. Your mindset becomes a threat to society, not because you're doing something productive to help progress the human species, or I don't know why people call it a race or whatever. Humans are species, so I'll leave it there. You're not doing anything to progress the human species. You're not even doing anything to progress your own community or yourself individually, but you think that somehow you're so important to overall society. You're such a big bad threat that somebody got to put a task force together to just stop you from doing what? Right here, they're trying to stop you from wreaking havoc on society. It says the Heritage Foundation's oversight project said it used the Freedom of Information Act request to expose FBI documents that include glossaries showing that common internet slang has been flagged as an indication of involuntary celibate violent extremism. Or, I want y'all to look at this. Racially or ethically motivated violent extremism. Who's on? You know what? When I read this first thing, you know what it reminded me of? Do you guys remember when, for the people who watched it, when Themis was going over the Destiny and Angry Man debate? Destiny showed up and he jumped on the panel with Themis. And one thing that came to my mind that stuck with me is Themis asked Destiny what did he think was the difference between the white manosphere and the black manosphere. And Destiny said that with the white manosphere, they may say that they don't like black women and they'll just leave it at that. But he said with the black manosphere, you have to get through 55 layers of hatred. You got to get through the 55 layers of hatred that black men have for black women, based solely on them being black, mind you, in order to actually get what their problem is. First, you have to get past their layers of racial hatred. And that stuck with me because they're the only ones who sit up on the internet talking about groups of women based on race. The bandits in the struggle bandit manosphere, it's always black women this, black women that, black women do this. I need to go get Asian women for that. Let me go take my passport to get foreign women for this. Where do y'all think this is coming from? The ones who do racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. There's been a few bandits already in the news getting sentenced for toe tagging foreign women. Don't you already have, what's that dude's name? That dude who was running around in Thailand and got caught up there? Him? Wasn't he already kicked out of Brazil? Wasn't he already investigated for his ethnically motivated tourism? I don't think that men of no color in the manosphere are sitting up openly talking about how they need to go to foreign countries and target different ethnic groups of women to subject their degeneracy to, because you think that you were owed some submission, even though you ain't doing a damn thing to get no submission. You're entitled. And they know that. They know exactly who they're talking about. You don't have to mention a race of people. You already know who they're talking about. It says part of the document refers specifically to incels, or those involuntarily celibate, whom the threat overview describes as possibly seeking to commit violence in support of their belief that society unjustly denies them sexual or romantic attention to which they believe they are entitled. Let me stop the share really quickly and let y'all listen to something so y'all can see how real life this is. And I think I already let y'all listen to it in a video. I want y'all to understand how real this is, because a lot of people act like they don't know. I'm trying to find that clip, y'all, where that bandit is talking about unaliving black women and how that's the only thing they could do.
It says this.
No, this is not it. If any of y'all have it, email it to me. I'm looking for it. I know it's on my computer. I just got to find it. because that's how real it is. That's how real life it actually is, where you got bandits who are sitting up, putting recordings on public platforms, talking about how they need to toe tag Black women because that's literally the only option that they have left.
All right, you want to know?
Whining and crying over women that they think that they're entitled to. Yeah, if y'all have it, send it to me. I'm looking on my computer because I know I had it on there. I know I had it on here. Bandit just sitting up. Is this it? No, I don't think. No. Let me look on something. Let me get on TikTok because I know that's where y'all initially sent it to me. I downloaded it and put it in a video, so it should be on my computer in my downloads, but I'm not seeing it. So it's highly likely that I might have deleted it off. I have to check though. Where is my TikTok? Here it is. Because I just want y'all to listen. I don't know that a lot of people have even really heard this clip. So I just want y'all to hear it when I can find it. Y'all go keep sending me these James Earl Jones clips, ain't y'all? I'm trying to find it, y'all. I think I might come up on it here. Is this it? No. Where is it? Did it get removed? Is this it? No. I wonder if it got removed because I'm not even seeing it where y'all tagged me in it on I'm not even seeing where y'all tagged me on it in on is this it? No. Oh yeah, it is. Wait, no, it ain't. I thought it was. I feel like I'm getting closer to it. No, this ain't it. Fear of men. Oh, you sent the link from the Google Drive? Okay, let me check. No, I don't think I have it. Okay, here it is. Oh, thanks, Demas, for sending this over. I forgot you sent it too. I should have went and looked in that because I forgot you did send the video to me. But when you got a femicide rate like the one in our community
earlier,
this one
to someone else, but I do want to stress this. There's nothing you can do outside of killing the Black women we have right now that will make any significant change in our society. Once we see the root of evil, which is the Black woman, we have to cut her out. You can't chastise her. You can't punish her. You can't discuss anything with her because she's made it blatantly clear.
Wasn't the Kimnon Hills promoting domestic discipline, which is chastising grown adult women as if they are children? Was he not promoting that? Because was he not making slapping sounds and whipping sounds and talking about how you should be able to slap a woman to keep her in check? Do y'all think anybody have forgotten about that? This is what they spread online. And when, as two things simultaneously are going on, then you start looking at the correlation between the two. And then you find out that there is likely, at least there's a correlation factor. At best, there's a causal factor. between the narrative that's being put out online by these struggle bandits and the femicide rate and the violence towards certain groups of women from entitled bandits who think that somebody should be submitting to them just because they are men. Promoting domestic discipline and thinking that a woman doesn't have a right to defend herself against a man, verbally or otherwise. So then why would we sit up here and call this something that ain't, because I've heard it happen too many times. They'll be like, oh, well, this ain't all black men. I mean, this is just a very vocal minority. Again, no, it's not even if it was a vocal minority, it's a majority by thought process. That just means some of them ain't talking about it, they out doing it, but they agree to. Let's continue.
That she does not care about you or your well-being or what's best for you. She does not care about the rightness or the wrongness of anything. She just wants to win. She just wants what she wants. If the system isn't going to change, and it's not, if the female isn't going to change, and she's not, who needs to change? Us, we do. We've tried everything and we failed. The only thing we haven't tried is violence. And we know that will actually succeed. Historically speaking, it's always been the case. When you read the Bible, what does it tell you to do? Kill all the women.
Didn't I tell you they will use religion to validate their degeneracy? What is he doing? He's going to the Bible. Now, they never want to go to the part of the Bible that says if they don't provide, they're worse than an infidel. They steer clear of that part of the Bible. In fact, they're more likely to say, oh, well, that's in Deuteronomy. That's in the Old Testament. We don't go by the Old Testament anymore. Because I know y'all like to do that too. I know y'all will take a whole half of the Bible out, basically, and y'all will say, well, no, it don't matter. That's the Old Testament. You got bandits in here doing the same thing. They justify submission by the Bible. They justify what your position as a woman should be based on the Bible. And they justify what they should do in response to your lack of submission by the Bible, just like what this bandit did. Now, what some Christians will do is say, well, there's no part of the Bible that says kill all the women. And there absolutely is. It says their children too. Though. Because when I said the Bible is important in support of miscarriages, i.e. a spontaneous abortion, i.e. abortion, then everybody wanted to sit here and argue and say, oh, no, you need to read 10 different verses before to get the context. Oh, but it didn't really mean an abortion. Oh, but contaminated water wouldn't cause the miscarriage. So no, the Bible didn't mean that. No, the Bible meant miscarriage. The Bible, specifically in the translation, it says miscarriage. A miscarriage is a spontaneous abortion. If a woman has a miscarriage and she goes into the doctors, the thing is, it may say miscarriage, but in most cases, it's going to say a spontaneous abortion is what she had. Because that's what a miscarriage is. But just like people will twist things to suit their narrative, so you ain't got to do that with the Bible. In a lot of situations, you don't have to do that with the Bible. You can get it right there. It does say that in the Bible. It does say it in the Bible. He's not lying when he says that. Now, is it saying that based on a certain situation? Yes. So is he manipulating it to suit his narrative? Because nowhere in there does it say if a woman doesn't submit to you, if she doesn't do what you tell her to do, then this is what you need to do. It doesn't say that. So he's adding it to a context that doesn't exist. But the Bible absolutely does say that. And it also says to all of their children too. It absolutely says that. I don't think he should be able to use it, but he's using it nonetheless.
For females as your wives. That's how you rid the world of evil.
You're going to say, this person is going to say the Bible says murder is the sin. The Bible also says love covers a multitude of sin. So if you're doing it in love, then it ain't no sin no more. Do we really want to go there with what the Bible says? It does say that's a sin, but it also tells you can cover that sin with love. It says that too. And it also says there's a time to kill in the Bible as well.
To the point where much of the evil within that population won't be passed down to the next generation. That evil doesn't pass from the father to the point.
I want you.
Take the.
I want all the people who are saying we shouldn't engage in selective breeding, and I'm gonna get to the report. I want y'all to really hear what he's saying on this part. Hear why he's saying that this is the only solution. Now he's saying toe tagging you while you're alive is the only solution. Mind you, I'm telling you to selectively breed. Stop it before you even get to a full-grown human. Listen to what he says, though. Listen clearly to why he's saying that this is the solution.
Younger females as your wives. That's how you rid. And we know that will actually succeed. Historically speaking, it's always been the case. When you read the Bible, what does it tell you to do? Kill all the women. Take the younger females as your wives. That's how you rid the world of evil. That's how you control a population to the point where much of the evil within that population won't be passed down to the next generation. That evil doesn't pass from the father to the child. It passes from the mother to the child. And unfortunately, women create much of the environment that we're in. So
now, is he not talking about selectively breeding so that you can get a group of women who will be submissive to them? Didn't he say toe tag y'all, take the younger ones, procreate with them, i.e. selectively breeding, so you can get another group of women out of it? Now, I would never tell you to go out and toe tag any living person. A lot of people try to say, oh, well, if you terminating a pregnancy, then you killing the baby. No, he's telling you right out to go toe tag people. That's what he's telling you. He's saying to go toe tag. Take the younger ones and mate with them so that you can selectively breed in a different population of women so you can stop the evil, because the evil isn't passed down through father, which he's lying, it's passed down through mother. But y'all want to play games. Y'all don't want to take this seriously. You think these bandits are in one accord with you. You think that this is a vocal minority, not 99.9% of the bandits in your community that you are literally giving birth to. No, I said terminate a fetus. That's what I said. That's not a baby. If it was a baby, you wouldn't need a gestational, i.e. developmental period. You wouldn't need that. If conception gives you a baby right off the bat, then you do not need a gestational period. What do you need a gestational period for? What you have is a ball of cells that have to develop, i.e. turn into, gradually, a human. Then it becomes a baby. But to start, no, that's not a baby. It's a wad of cells and tissue. You can call it a baby if you want to. If it's a baby, then explain to me why you need to go to the gestational, i.e. developmental period that is 9 months so that your body can create a baby. Why do you need that period if you already got a baby? It's not a baby. It's a clump of cells. That is what it is. It's not a baby. You don't need to have a kid. It's not a baby. And Paris, if you think it's a baby, then the next thing you can type in there is, why do we need a developmental period then for it to turn into a baby? If it's already a baby doesn't need to turn into a baby over 9 months. It's already a baby. And if you say that again and you don't tell me, okay, cool, I hear you. If you say it's a baby, then why does it need to develop into a baby? Why? Then that means that a woman should, the minute she becomes pregnant, she should be ready to give birth based on that logic. person to tell me. Because you can call it whatever you want to. You can see it for whatever you want it to be based on whatever religion you subscribe to. It is not a baby. It develops into a baby. That's why you have a gestational period. That's why there's a period when your pregnancy has to become a viable pregnancy. I.e. meaning it's going to result in the development of a baby that you will get to give birth to in 9 months. Some people say 10, and really do go into 10, but anyway, but still, it's just the reality of what it is. He clearly knows it for what it is. He knows what the process is. And this is a bandit, and bandits you don't post anything to a public platform unless you want somebody to publicly see it. He's sending out a memo. And then when we go into this FBI report, though, does this not sound like, let me go to what exactly it said. Racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism. You don't think that this video here qualifies as racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism? That's exactly what this is. That is exactly what this is that he's doing.
All the negative things that we see in our environment, that came from this Black woman. And what's awful, what's heart-wrenching, is that other races of women are starting to emulate the behavior of Black American women. This can't be allowed to continue. If you care about making any kind of meaningful change, you got to consider killing this Black woman. And don't do it in such a way as to prevent you from taking action. Don't wait for everyone to agree with you. There are times where you just have to be the first to do something, even though you might risk being the only one to do it, which I guarantee you will not be the only one killing Black women, trust me.
Somebody said, but aborting a fetus can harm our wombs. You being pregnant can harm your womb. Like, what are you talking about? Your body is harmed more from going through a pregnancy than aborting a fetus. Like, y'all really got to start researching stuff that you're talking about. Do you know how? I think because we have babies so willy-nilly ignoring the harm that we're putting ourselves in, the risk that we're putting ourselves in, is why people seem to think that there is no risk to having a baby. Having a baby wreaks havoc on your body. It wreaks havoc on your body. Your hormonal system, your teeth can fall out, you can lose all your hair. Like, y'all really need to start looking into how dangerous it is to be pregnant and carry a baby, especially a male. Because yes, your pregnancy complications are dictated by the sex of the baby that you are carrying. Your susceptibility to genetic disorders can be influenced by the gender or the sex of the child that you're having. This is why I'm saying we should not be just popping out babies. In addition to the tacky environment that you in, where you got bandits who literally are sitting out here telling people, don't wait for somebody to agree with you. So he's basically saying, even if somebody tell you this is wrong, disregard it, just go out there and do it anyway, because that's the only way to save your community. Because he said women, Black women set the environment. Women don't set environments, men do. Men set environments. Women are supposed to nest in them. So these bandits have created a hostile, toxic environment in which you are choosing to birth and raise children. You're doing that, which literally goes against female nature, because if you look at the species of all different females, they consider the environment with which they are birthing their children in. Black women do not. We seem to couldn't care less about the environment that we're just as long as they Black, just keep popping them out. Just as long as they Black, who cares about the hostile environment that you're choosing to pop them out in? Nobody cares about that. Oh, well, just as long as they Black. That's all that matters. It only matters if they Black. But does that not fall into when they're saying they are committing violence in support of their beliefs that society unjustly denies them sexual or romantic attention to which they believe they are entitled? The assessment notes, while most incels do not engage in violence, some have been involved in at least 5 lethal attacks in the United States and Canada. But people like to say this is not real life. But it is real life. Many of the terms mentioned in the FBI's list of incel terminology are either widely used across the internet or innocuous in nature. It can be innocuous to you, but they know exactly who they're talking about. You think the FBI don't know who's mostly engaging in this behavior? Do you think the FBI doesn't have a group that they're looking at? Yes, they do. It can be innocuous to you, and it can be terminology used widely across the internet. They know who's using it in a manner that is conducive to violence against women. They know that. The one term in the glossary is red pill, which comes from the 1999 film The Matrix and has been used as a metaphor for seeing hidden or politically incorrect truth about the modern world, particularly when it comes to politics and dating. They basically just told you who they're talking about right here. They told you exactly who they're. Do we need, for the remedial ones, do we need to read the whole article to get the context of who they're talking about right here? Or can we use context clues and we can determine already in the highlighted part who they're talking about? Because I know this one sentence right here, I already know who they're talking about. So let's read it. The one term in the glossary is red pill, which comes from the 1999 film The Matrix and has been used as a metaphor for seeing hidden or politically incorrect truths about the modern world, particularly when it comes to politics or dating. They just told you who this is. They told you who it is. The FBI list of key terms defined it as a belief shared by many online communities that society is corrupt and that the believer is a victim of this corruption. Did the bandit in there not say in that video, did the bandit say if the system won't change, i.e. society, if the Black woman won't change, then this is what we have to do because you are a victim of the environment that Black women created? This bandit in this video literally said the evil in the environment was created by Black women. Is that not what's right here, laid out right in front of you? Communities online communities who believe that society is corrupt and that the believer is a victim of this corruption. So these bandits don't run around saying they're a victim of Black women all the time. They got to take their passport to another country. They got to fly on Spirit Airlines to go outside of the country so that they're not a victim of you as a Black woman. Many of the terms listed are focused on self-improvement or the struggle to reckon with the marketplace of modern dating. They're telling you who this is. You can't narrow it down. Really? You got all the context clues are here. They basically laying it out for you. If you need them to name all of the podcasts that are on here talking about this, Fake and Funky, Andrew Tate, all of them. Them over there in the LaPeace network, do we need to name names? It should be obvious. This is obvious what they're telling you. Many of the terms listed are focused on self-improvement or the struggle to reckon with the marketplace of modern dating. The glossary defines the term Chad as a race-specific term. They're telling you again who they're talking about. All you got to do is go find the people who are using these language. It ain't that hard. Some of y'all about to go play in dust and hear some bandits using this language today. You're gonna hear it today from some bandits. They're not smart. They're not using foresight. They have to be in the situation to understand the situation will happen. But the glossary defines the term Chad as a race-specific term used to describe the idealized version of a male who is very successful at getting sexual and romantic attention from women, later noting incels unsuccessfully compete against Chads for attention. Chad or Pookie and Ray Ray. Another race-specific term they could throw in here is Pookie and Ray Ray. Oh, Black women only want to be with the Pookies and the Ray Rays. Y'all running around here, the Pookie and the Ray Ray, getting all the sex from the women. I mean, if they put Pookie and Ray Ray in here, they might as well say Black men are doing it. So, but anyway, they're telling you who's doing it. If you need them to say Black men, like, you got a problem. If something ain't right with your brain, the way it works, you might want to go get that checked out if you need them to say the dusty beta manosphere mainly. You might want to go get that checked out. The list also includes the term looks maxing, which is defined in the document as the process of self-improvement with the intent to become more attractive. Well, we know anything that has to do with improving oneself is not coming out the mouths of Black men. So they talking about somebody else with this, because Black men never talk about improving themselves. They only talk about manipulating women into lowering herself to his dusty level that he wants to stay at. You can guess the race of the person by what's being said and compare it to who's saying it in this space. There are many terms associated with self-pity rather than violence, such as saying it's over to convey the hopelessness of being an incel, or referring to height sale or bald sale to define people with short stature or baldness, respectively. The FBI lists for terms associated with racially or ethnically motivated violent extremism have a mixture of extreme terms and innocuous ones. Red pill also appears in this list, but with a different description. Let's get into this and see if we need to go over the entire article again to figure out who they talking about for the remedial ones, because we know that y'all are here and y'all probably need me to go use the Information Act to get the whole FBI report to get the context of what they saying, because you can't just get it based off this. Like some of you bandits should be embarrassed to open your mouth. Red pill also appears in the list, but with a different description. In the context of RMVE ideology, taking the red pill or becoming red-pilled indicates the adoption of racist, anti-Semitic, or fascist beliefs. Based is defined by the FBI as a word used to refer to someone who has been converted to racist ideology, or as a way of indicting ideological agreement. To me, there's nobody in this sector spreading more racist ideology with their red pill content than Black men. It just is what it is. Because men of no color are smart enough to say modern women, bandits will run around talking about modern Black women or feminist. They're just not smart. In regular parlance, base is a context-specific word coined by rapper Lil B that can mean, as Know Your Meme describes, anything ranging from something that is agreeable and cool to something considered anti-woke. The list also includes the term LARPing, which was originally used to describe people engaging in live-action roleplay. That's what I've heard it as. Often as characters in high fantasy settings. In a political context, the term can be used for people with an impractical or improbable political vision, such as imagining a monarchist future for the United States. The FBI glossary says the term is used to deride individuals of not being as extreme or in possession of skills or other value characteristics they claim to have. That's the end of the article, but listen. In case the bandits are too remedial to know, in conclusion, that means they got their eye on you, bandit. They know your lingo, they know your game, they know everything that you sitting up here talking about, and watch these bandits try to recreate history. Do y'all think these bandits ain't about to try to rewrite history? And I hope I'm around when they try to do it so I can burst their dusty bubble. Watch them sit up here and say, no, Red Pill was about putting the black family together. The Red Pill was trying to put the black family together, and then they created COINTELPRO 2.0 and decided to come in and break up the black man food because the black man was trying to reunite the black family. I promise y'all they gonna do that. Y'all think they ain't? Tell me they ain't. Y'all tell me they ain't gonna rewrite history. Tell me they not about to rewrite history. You know they gonna rewrite history. They about to say they're already doing it. Aren't they already telling you the kidney heals? Didn't they already try to tell you that the kidney heals was trying to put together the black family when he clearly was not? He clearly was not. They're going to try to rewrite history. They're going to try to pretend that they were sitting up on the internet trying to do something productive. And no, you were not. You were sitting up on the internet demeaning and degrading and targeting women who don't want you. That's what you were doing. You wasn't about putting no black family together. You were interested in sitting up here with your dry dick, trying to manipulate and browbeat women into submitting to you when you ain't got nothing you don't have anything to exchange for the submission. It ain't free. Their kidney heels daddy was the one sitting up talking about domestic discipline. They're always sitting up here talking about targeting different racial groups. That's what black men are doing. And you don't then get to turn around and say this was a white supremacist attack against you when you were the one spreading white supremacy all up and through your own communities. Didn't that other bandit over there? We go listen to what he had to say. Because I want y'all to tell me, does this not sound like what they talking about over here at the Lapeef Network?
You want to know what's really wrong with the black community? Is that the woman is out of her purpose and she's not a helpmeet no more. She's the enemy. She's more of an enemy than the white man ever has. She's more of an enemy than anybody in history has ever been to the black community, because she's the very person that comes in with deceit and looks to use you and then disperse of you when she's done with you. And then she'll move on when it's all said and done, and then say, well, what about the kids? Fuck them kids and fuck that woman too. Throw that hoe out with the bathwater, throw the baby out with the bathwater, start the fuck over, get a whole new group of women, and then fix the community that way.
So they go get a whole new group of women and they go fix the community. Now, one bandit is talking about toe tagging you and going and taking the younger women and creating children, selectively breeding with them so that they can get rid of the evil that you brought into the environment. And this bandit is sitting up here, mind you, who has a large following, mind you. This is supposed to be one of the good black men in the community. By the way, I don't know if y'all know that yet. But the clip of the video that I showed you, the statements made, were statements made by a black man that's supposed to be one of the good black men in the community, one of the productive black men, one of the black men who got a black wife and a black family, and he blacking it up, black love all over the place, although he elevated a white woman even above his own woman. But still, He's supposed to be one of the good men. As he sits there and declare you as the enemy and talks about getting another group of women and fixing the community that way. Now, that's not the first time I heard that, but I'll tell you what, they ain't done it yet. Go do it. Then maybe you can have an accomplishment that you can lay claim to. Why you ain't doing it yet? I want to know what's taking you so long to do it. You sat up there and said you got access to all these different groups of women. All these women want you. You desire by everybody. Let's listen to this bandit talk about how desirable they are to all other groups of women. Why you ain't with them then? Why? I want to know why you ain't with them.
But I was talking about what the black man got to go through, what the black man got to deal with, what the black man must accept. You know, the black man must accept that we have power. We don't have to deal with most of these women in society. And if you work hard for your money, and if you really, really know about yourself as a black man and know what you want, there's a lot of women in society that open up their mouth and tell you you don't need to pick them. And that's what we need to do, stay away from the type of women. We need to learn as black men that we have options. We got white women, Asian women, Chinese women, Mexican women, Arab women. We don't have.
They got white women, Asian women, Chinese women, Mexican women. Just say you just got different ethnicity, the white. Don't try to act like you got options that you do not. Why are you not with your options then?
There's certain women that want us. No matter how bad the black woman talks about the black man in society, we don't have no choice of women wanting to take us. We don't have no choice of women that want to respect us. We don't have no choice of women that want to marry us. We don't have no choice of women that want to have a baby by us. No matter when they get people in their mouth and talk about how negative they want to talk about us, and they stopping your friends who are not of the same race of wanting a black man. So at the end of the day, all you do is focus on yourself. And that's what I said.
So you got all these options. All these women want to marry you. All these women want to respect you. They want to, but they just ain't doing it. So where they at then? I want to see all of these women who are in these different demographics who really want to marry black men, who want to respect black men, who want to have babies with black men. Where they at then? Why ain't they doing it? Why are you sitting on a, and let me show y'all who he's sitting in front of course. Of course, he's saying this while sitting up on a panel with some black women on it. Well, sir, why are you not over there with all your options? Why are you up in a black woman's face telling her about the options that you got? Can you just go towards your options already? This bandit here, if y'all was wondering. This is the loudmouth bandit. Why are you sitting on this panel then if you got all of them options? I need you to go explore your options and get out of black women's face. You ain't got nothing to say to a black woman who's unruly and don't appreciate you when you got all these options. Can somebody tell me why he's sitting up in the black woman's face then? Why do y'all let bandits get on the panel and tell you how much options he got, but you ain't gonna make them explain then if you got all them options, why you sitting up on any panel complaining about black women? If you have all of them options, you do not sit up on a platform and complain and try to browbeat one group of women into doing what you want. Sir, just go get to where you know where what you want is at and where to find it. If you know what you want and where to find it, why are you here? Why? Just sitting up here being bandits, just manipulative bandits. And it's really just to okey doke. Like, wasn't that same bandit talking about he go do a panel with a bunch of white women? Okay, go do it. Like, who cares? You don't need to tell us. Just go do it. Like, show us. Go get your panel, get your throwbacks. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. I don't know anybody who cares particularly if you choose to do that. But if that's what you choose to do, you should just be doing it. You don't need to be in black women's face. They always talking about their options, but you literally never see them with their options. You never see them with their options. Ever. Why are they all up in your face with their hate speech and their extremism? Why are they always talking about you? You are always the topic of any of their discussions, but they have so many options that you literally never see them utilizing. They got the lowest rate of marriage between any group of men. But this bandit just sat up there and said he ain't out of shortage of women that want to respect and marry Black men. Okay, well then y'all should have the highest marriage rate since y'all value marriage and Black women don't. Why are you sitting up complaining about the lack of a traditional family structure in the Black community if you can just go create that with another race of woman? Please go do it. I'm tired of looking at y'all. I'm tired of hearing y'all. I'm tired of seeing you on the internet. Apparently, a lot of people in the country is tired of you too, which is likely why the FBI is about to get you off. You think they ain't about to be shut down? They about to be shut down. They're not about to keep this up any longer. I don't know how long y'all think that these bandits are just gonna sit up running amok on the internet like this. You ain't about to just sit up here and keep running amok on the internet like this. You're not. They gonna end up rounding them up and shutting them down. Yeah, no, I'm when I tell y'all I'm tired of these bandits, because I genuinely don't understand why they have so much to say about what they can do, but they literally never show us. They never go do it. They never ever go do it. I'm tired of sitting here. I've been listening to y'all talk about your passport for at least 4 years, and you still here talking about it. When are you going to actually get your passport and go? You don't need to announce your departure to us. You can just go. That's fine. Close the door behind you. I'm calling your bluff. Go ahead and get the hell on. Go find those women who want to respect you, because I give it a year after them dealing with you, 6 months after dealing with you, they ain't gonna want to respect you no more. They gonna want to throw you right back into the dusty garbage can you came out of. These bandits are gonna get caught up, and then they're going to run and go cry victim of COINTELPRO 2.0. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to take accountability, even though they're in videos. A clip will come out showing what they talk about, and they're going to say you got to watch the whole live stream to get the context. That's what they're going to do. They're going to say this was about bringing the Black family together. You going to show a clip like what I showed, and then they're going to say, oh, no, you need to listen to the whole live stream that came from. You got to listen to every single second of it just to get the context of it. It's like, yeah, no, there were different people saying different things. I don't need to listen to no. They want you to listen to the entirety of every single person on the panel's commentary and discussion, just so that you can make sure you got the right context of that. Just being manipulative. It's another way for them to say that they think you're as remedial as they are. Don't nobody need to sit up and listen to a 5, 6, 7 hour live stream just to understand the context. All I need to do is hear a few words before he said what he said. That's all I need to hear. And I'll use some context clues to figure the rest out. I'm not about to listen to an 11-hour live stream just because a bandit is too remedial to understand how to apply context clues or identify context clues. I'm not doing that. But anyway, the bottom line here is that these bandits are going down, and it's really just that simple. It really is just that simple. They're going to be dismantled soon. They're just not smart. They're not smart. They should have really, you would think they would have switched it up and changed when that first article that said that space was getting investigated. Now they're isolating it to red pill and certain terminologies that they're literally giving you all the clues to figure out who it is. So when they start rounding up these dusty pop-up, non-qualified, failed relationship having dating coaches who want to sit up here and complain about modern women all over the place and red pill when they ain't came to no type of awakening at all. You didn't come to no awakening. You haven't come into anything. You're realizing that what Black women will listen to you just because you're a Black man. You understand that you're in a Black male worshiping culture and that all you need to do is say that you're a dating coach, say that you're a life coach, present no credentials, and Black women will start asking you for advice, but only Black women, because ain't nobody else about to ask them for no advice. No. And y'all can try to convince us that somebody other than Black people was listening to Kevin Samuels. Absolutely not. And I don't care if you show 2 videos of some throwback saying that Kevin Samuels is entertaining. But the point is, Kevin Samuels was only popular to Black people, by and large. Black women need to take this seriously. You don't have to selectively mate, but please believe the bandits out there, they got a plan. Now, you don't have to sit there and have a plan if you don't want to, but these bandits got a plan. And they're bringing their plan to fruition because they are actually toe tagging you. See, that's the difference between these bandits. These bandits will come up with a plan to sabotage and destroy Black women, and they'll start bringing their plan into fruition. Black women will sit up here and play games. You want to play games. You want to lie to yourself about how many of these bandits actually feel this way. That's what you want to do. You want to sit up here and say, oh, we can raise them better. And, oh, if we just do this. No, that bandit knows that raising them better is not the way that you deal with a cultural dynamic. Now, is he lying? Obviously. He's blaming the cultural dynamic that Black men created and the environment that Black men created on Black women. But he does understand the environment is important. He does understand that when you choose to procreate with degenerates, you are replicating degenerates. He understands that. You better believe he understands that. And we know he understands it because he laid it out in the video. He laid out their whole insidious plan and why they need to go out of it. He basically saying they don't want their children to inherit the wickedness that you are putting in the community, Black women. So he is telling other Black women, other Black men to toe tag you, selectively breed with the younger generation so that they can get rid of your evil that's apparently coming from your womb. And y'all want to sit around here and play. You want to sit around here and twist science and recreate history just to, if you want to continue to burst the bandits who want to toe tag you, you can do it. You can do it. You can continue. The beauty of it is for Black women, the way free will is set up says that you can do whatever you want to and you can suffer the consequences for it too. There is always going to be an action and then a reaction, something that happens when you make a certain action. So if you are then choosing as Black women to continue to birth this degeneracy in generation after generation after generation, okay, then just accept the consequences of that behavior. Don't complain that they're treasonous. Don't complain that they're toxic. Don't complain that they won't build. Don't complain that they don't value you. You know they don't. And you know that they haven't been for since basically ever. You know that they never have been, but you still keep birthing it into existence though. So do you get to complain? Like at some point you do not get to complain when you are bringing this into existence, and you are bringing it into existence. You're choosing to continue to birth these bandits all for the sake of them being Black. Because you literally can't give any other justifiable reason why you continue to birth these children in this toxic environment to these toxic bandits other than the fact that they are Black. It's very clear that you're doing it because they're Black. And if blackness is your sole motivation and it's worth all the consequences, then just take the consequences. Just take the consequences then. You can continue to do whatever you're doing. You ain't got to make a change at all. You don't have to make one change at all. These bandits are coming up with a plan, though. So what you gonna do to counteract it? Or you gonna just carry on like some sitting ducks and let them toe tag you? So that this generational cycle of dust that they're creating and that you're allowing to create life in your womb, you're just gonna keep doing it? And then every generation complain about some more problematic behaviors as if they weren't engaging in those problematic behaviors the entire time. None of what they're doing is new, by the way. This is not new. If it was new, I wouldn't be able to go throughout history and do research and see them doing the same thing, pimping you, abusing you, not building, being treasonous. They've been doing it, and you've been ignoring it, and you've been replicating it, and now you're complaining about it. And now it's out of control. These bandits are out of control, and you don't want to do what's necessary to get things back in order. You don't want to pay attention to who you're having the children with. You don't want to pay attention to the environment that you're birthing them in. You just want to replicate blackness, really? And we're saying that this is not. Somebody on a TikTok video literally was countering one of me saying that this is about vanity, said that it wasn't vanity, and then started describing the motivations as vanity. Black women have a problem with their obsession with their own blackness. You have a problem with that. You have a problem. And if you don't recognize your problem, which is vanity, you cannot resolve it. If you don't resolve the fact that you are running around chasing blackness that your offspring does not like, then you cannot change it. You can't operate outside of your vanity if you won't acknowledge that you have a problem with vanity. You've been having these kids based on dumb, vain, pointless reasons. No, you don't have children because they're Black. Especially when the bandits that you're having them with don't even like the blackness. They run into the womb of Becky, Maria, and Ling Ling so they can get rid of the blackness, and you're chasing them so that you can replicate blackness. It don't make no sense. Stop doing. There's a problem. There's a problem that Black women have, and it's called racial vanity. And I really wish that they would understand this. I really wish that they would admit to this. This is a problem. It's a problem. There is nothing wrong with wanting to replicate who you are, but when that is the only thing you're trying to do, that is when it becomes vanity. Because you don't care about the other circumstances around it, only that you get to look at something that resembles you. That is vanity, and you need to get out of it. But anyway, you guys, I'm getting off of here. I rescheduled my therapy appointment for today, and it actually starts in 15 minutes. And I got to go do something before I start my therapy appointment. So I'm going to get off of here. I'll have you guys some more content. I don't want to lose my voice. I want to preserve it. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks so much, everyone who super chatted me. Could you guys please make sure that you like the video? Thanks so far to everyone who liked the video. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.